I'm SanduniPieris and today I'll be demonstrating the RESTful Bookstore API that I've developed using JAX-RS for a bookstore application. Before the demonstration, let me briefly explain the core RESTful principles implemented in this API. I've implemented a RESTful API that makes proper use of the standard HTTP methods. Get request, retrieve information without changing data. Post request, create new resources. Put request, update existing resources. Delete request, remove resources. You also notice consistent use of the HTTP status codes that follow REST API best practices. 200 OK indicates successful operation. 201 created shows successful resource creation. 204 no content appears after successful deletion. 400 bad request indicates validation failures. 404 not found when resource don't exist. Now let's look at how I've organized my Postman collection to test these concepts. As you can see, all API endpoints in this demonstration will extend from our base URL, which is this, and I've organized it into folders for each resource type: books, authors, customer, cart, and also order. And also this is my code with organized folders including models, repositories, resources, also exception, and also the exception mappers. So let's start with the book resource. So this is the book module class with fields like ID, title, author ID, ISBN, publication year, price, and stock quantity. So this is the book repository that handles all the operation and is also using in-memory hash map. So this is the book resource class that exposes endpoints with validation for creating, reading, updating, and deleting. Now let's move on to creating books. First, I'll demonstrate creating a book with valid data by sending a post request. So we will be creating this book. So as you can see, the response has a 201 created status code and returns the created book with its assigned ID. Now let's try creating a book with an invalid author ID to demonstrate the error handling. So I will be putting 999 as the author ID, which is invalid. So as expected, we receive 404 not found response with an error message indicating that the author ID with ID 999 does not exist. So this shows our exception mapper correctly handling the author not found exception. So now we'll create another book with invalid publication year, which will be using future year 2028. So as expected, it gives a 400 bad requests with an error message indicating invalid publication year. So this shows our exception mapper correctly handling the invalid publication exception. Now, let's get our books. Ask them to get request to books to get all the books. So as you can see, we get a 200 OK response with a JSON body with the book we just created. Next, I'll get a specific book by its ID. We'll get the book ID 1. So we receive 200 OK response with the detail of the book with ID 1. Now let's try getting a book with non-existent ID, which is we'll use 999. So as expected, we get a 404 not found response with an appropriate error message. This triggers the book not found exception, which then handled by the book not found exception mapper. Now I'll demonstrate updating a book by sending a put request. So we'll update the book we just created, which is ID number 4, and stock quantity is 100. So we'll change the stock quantity. So in here we have to put this, and now we change this to 300. Send. So as expected, we receive a 200 OK response with the updated book details of stock quantity 300. Okay, now let's update a book with invalid book ID. So we'll update in here 999. So as expected, we get a 404 not found response indicating that book not found with ID 999. So this triggers the book not found exception. And let's try another one. Let's try to update book with invalid author ID 50. So we'll put this back in here and we'll auth ID 50. So as expected, it gives us a 404 not found response. Now we'll delete a book that exists in our system by sending a delete request. So we'll delete the book ID number 4, which we just created. So ID number 4, send. So this returns a 204 no content status code, which is exactly what we expect. This indicates that the book was successfully deleted and there's no content to return. So now let's attempt to delete a book that doesn't exist by sending a delete request. So we'll send this again, so which we deleted. So as expected, we receive 404 not found response with the book not found ID 4. Let's move on to customer. As you can see, this is the custom model class with fields like ID, first name, last name, email and password. And also this is the customer repository, and also this is the customer resource class. Now let's create a customer with valid data using post request. So as you can see, it gave us 201 created status code with the content. Now let's create a customer with invalid email format. So as you can see, this email is invalid. So as expected, we got 400 bad requests with the error message invalid input. All the customers. As you can see, we got all the customers, including the one we just created. Now let's get customer by a valid ID. We can use 3. As expected, we got 200 OK status code with the JSON body. Now let's get customer by an invalid ID. As expected, we got 404 not found status code with the error message customer not found with ID 444. Let's update the customer with valid data using put request. So we'll update first customer. We'll change the password. As you can see, the password is 123themi456. So we'll update it to 123tej456. As expected, we got 200 OK status code with the content. Now let's update the customer with non-existent ID. We can use ID like this, and we can add a body. As expected, we got 404 not found status code with the error message customer not found with ID 765. Now we'll update customer with invalid email format. So we'll use second customer, and we can use invalid email format. So as you can see, this is invalid. As expected, we got 400 bad requests, which is invalid input. Now let's delete customer by valid ID. Let's delete the customer which is created. As expected, we got 204 no content status code, which is exactly what we expect. This indicates that the customer was successfully deleted and there's no content to return.